To understand the outrage surrounding the parole of 58-year-old David Weidert, you have to know the crime.
Made him dig his own grave, beat him to the point that he was senseless with a baseball bat. He literally was buried alive.
He was 20-year-old Mike Morganti. The year was 1980. This is Fresno County DA Lisa Smitkamp.
This young, developmentally disabled, I guess you could call him a man, even though he had the intelligence of a child, had dirt in his lungs.
After decades of parole hearings, Weidert was granted his freedom in 2015. But the story went viral, and Governor Jerry Brown blocked his release. Brown did a second time, and so did Governor Gavin Newsom in 2019. But earlier this month, Newsom took no action, effectively allowing parole.
This is a real thing that my family's been fighting since I was 10. I mean, it's appalling.
But Vicki Van Dyne and her family weren't notified of Weidert's parole for days, and they weren't given any say about his parole destination before he was released 10 days later.
Not an email, not a heads up, not a phone call, not a text of what the decision was. Be a human being.
Despite the family's objections, Weidert is being paroled to San Francisco, where he'll live in transitional housing.
For decades, crime victims and their next of kin were deeply respected and their input sought.
State Senator Jim Nielsen, the former head of the Board of Prison Terms, is outraged over the treatment of this victim's family.
It's just despicable. It shows what we've become as a society, and I hope many of us are going to start standing up and pushing back.
Ballot propositions, public opinion, and court decisions are driving a dramatic shift in the criminal justice system. Fresno DA Smitkamp last week.
This isn't about crime and punishment anymore. This isn't about protecting victims. It's not about public safety. It's all about politics for Gavin Newsom. This is another example of him being a political puppet to the people who pay him.
This latest snub is devastating for victims' rights groups and people like Vicki Van Dyne and her family.
The fact that people think that this type of a criminal should be released when he got life, no chance of parole, it's dumbfounding.
Parole for David Weidert is set at 3 years, though he'll probably get less, we're told. He'll report to a probation officer once a month. John Lobertini, News 93.1, KFBK.